What up, gang? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. In this one, I'm gonna be talking about why I have changed my perspective, my opinion on caffeine. I have a very unique perspective, I believe, as someone who's been a heavy caffeine user. I've been a non-user. I was a non-user for 18 years straight. First 18 years of my life, then I went back on, then I went off. So I've really dove headfirst into both heavy usage and not usage. So I think I have a very unique opinion, unbiased on just like exactly what the pros and cons are of having it in your life versus not having it. And there are true pros and true cons to both. So I want to kind of break that down for you so you can kind of understand and maybe even take a little bit of a look at your relationship with caffeine, just to make sure that ultimately you can be getting the most out of it or the most out of life, whether that is with it or without it, right? So quick timeline, like never drank it growing up at all. No soda, no coffee, no tea, like nothing aside from maybe like a couple sips of soda or like a little bit of tea that my mom gave me or something, but like not at all. And then when I was like 19, 20, actually when I was 20 is when I first started drinking it, because I like dated this girl that was obsessed with Starbucks when I was in college. So I started drinking it then, continued to drink it just to like go to the library and stuff after that. And then there was some periods after college where I was just kind of like working, doing some entrepreneurial stuff where I didn't have it at all. And I just said, you know what, I'm gonna go completely off of this. And then even like last year for a long stretch of months, like probably 6-8 months or so, I was completely off of it as well. And so a lot of that came from a lot of me not using it immediately and then also going off of it is like I've always had this thing in my mind that I never want to be addicted or dependent on anything at all, regardless of how like okay it is or how harmful it is. Like, I don't care what it is. I don't want to be addicted to anything. I don't even want to be addicted to anything other than water and food, you know, or whatever. And so that was a big piece where I was like, I don't like how this is kind of like an everyday thing. People really get addicted to it. Anyways, the reason that I've since introduced it back to my life, because I used to preach, like I literally used to preach the no caffeine lifestyle. And before I actually get into that really quick, I want to talk about all the pros, because I think a lot of people don't understand what the pros are of not having it, okay? So first of all, what most people don't realize is like when you don't have caffeine for like, if you're addicted and then you go off of it, like you're gonna feel like shit immediately, right? But most people don't realize if you just tough it out for like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, you like completely go back to normal. Your energy levels go up, your sleep quality goes up, and it's honestly really great. And you can wake up and be productive and not feel like you need to reach for something. And it's like, it's also nice too, because I feel like a lot of times it can be inconvenient if you're like out and about or you're traveling or whatever. And if you're like a caffeine user who like quote unquote needs it, you might be like, oh, we have to go to a coffee shop. Or, oh, can we stop at the store so I can grab an energy drink? Like, it's just kind of inconvenient. Whereas if you're not like that, you don't need anything. You can just drink water and food and be chill, which is nice. So that's great. And you're not addicted to anything. Save a little bit of money too. But as far as being back on it, I honestly feel like I just like it better. Like the locked in, you are more locked in for work and focus. It's also nice, like if you don't get the best night of sleep, you kind of have that crutch. You kind of have a backup to be like, okay, cool. Like I'm just gonna use caffeine to kind of get me through the day or the afternoon or whatever. Versus when I was like 100% no caffeine, it was like I had no lifeline. I had no backup. If I got a rough night of sleep or something, or if I was like hungover or whatever, it was just like, fucking deal with it, buddy. Deal with the yawns, deal with the grogginess or whatever. So it's kind of nice to have that. I also do really like that appetite suppression that you get from caffeine. So traditionally I am trying to stay a little bit like just leaner and in general just not fucking overeat like a pig. So it is really nice to have that. I just feel like my overall, like if I'm a daily caffeine drinker, not only does it suppress my appetite right after I consume a morning coffee, for example, but I just feel like overall, like kind of chronically throughout the day and night, my appetite levels are just lower. I just can't eat as much, don't really feel as called to eat food, which is great because I can kind of overeat really easily. So it's kind of better. If I want to eat a lot, I still kind of can, but it definitely just doesn't allow me to go crazy. And I used to think that it really hurt my sleep. That was another big reason that I wanted to give it up, was I wanted to make sure that my sleep quality was as high as possible. And it is true for me that I fall asleep easier. Like it seems like it doesn't take me nearly as long. But when I was tracking sleep with my Oura Ring off caffeine and then on caffeine, I really didn't notice that big of a difference. And I am a big believer that even if you're tracking with something like an Oura Ring or a Whoop, like don't just follow the numbers. Yeah, obviously it's tracking your biometrics, but just like think about how you feel. If I get an amazing sleep score on my app and I look at it, but I feel like shit, who gives a fuck what the numbers are? Like I feel like shit, I didn't sleep well, something's off, right? So it's not nearly as bad. And then like the performance benefits that you get like physically using pre-workout before a workout or something are just unmatched. I mean, it's very well documented. It doesn't even need to be documented. It's obvious. It's clear as day when you take it. Like being able to get through a tough workout, if you're trying to lift heavy in the gym, if you're trying to do whatever, even like endurance, like it's fucking nice. It's very nice to have. And if you're trying to do anything remotely like difficult in terms of your fitness, it's nice to have a tool, pre-workout, caffeine, whatever. I feel like socially it's also kind of a plus. Going and grabbing a coffee with someone, it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit like if you're drinking decaf or you get something else, that's one thing. I guess if you're like going on dates, again, it's nice to be able to like, there's something that you drink. I feel like there's also certain things like, like espresso martini if you're out drinking, vodka Red Bull, like obviously you can work around these things somewhat easier, but it is kind of nice socially. Like if you're just a caffeine drinker, like you're not someone that's like, no, I don't have any of that. It's just a little bit easier in certain situations and it's kind of nice to partake. It's kind of along the lines of like if you're it's a little bit different, but if you're like a non-alcohol drinker, which I did a year of not drinking, if you want to learn more about that, you can look at some of my other videos. Actually, they're probably on my old channel, but anyways, comment if you want to look at that. When you don't drink alcohol, you kind of feel like an outsider in alcohol-based events, or if everybody's drinking and you're drinking a mocktail or a 0% beer or something like that, you just kind of feel off. Same thing a little bit with socially. Also a lot of supplements these days, whether they be like nootropics, but definitely obviously pre-workouts and other stuff like have caffeine. So it's a little bit easier, a little bit more chill. You can partake in more things if you have that on the menu. And then the last thing, I don't know why I left this one for last because this is actually super fucking important, is the anxiety piece of it. So that is a big downside, I will say, of being a caffeine drinker. Like my just baseline, the level of anxiety, I guess not baseline, but like when I've consumed caffeine, my baseline level of just like anxiety is higher, which sucks. So often I'll pair my coffee with taurine. Sometimes I'll do L-theanine. I actually do a lot of this stuff now, Neurogum, which has caffeine in it. And I'm sorry, it has caffeine obviously, but it has L-theanine as well, which can counteract the anxious or jittery feeling of caffeine. So that's nice. But I will say, a big pro of not drinking caffeine was I had like very, very little anxiety, which is a huge pro. So, I mean, you just kind of have to look at it for yourself and determine, hey, do I want to try it? But I believe every person should give themselves the option to live life with it and live life without it and truly, fully experience what it's like. Don't just take someone's word for it. You can't just take what I say for it. Like, if you've drank caffeine all your life, go a month, go 2 months without it and just like get a general, like genuine look at what it's like and then kind of make your decision from there, whether you want to do it or what your relationship specifically is going to be like it. I used to think I could be like an occasional user, like, oh, I won't be addicted. I won't be a daily like dependent user. I'll just use it if I need a boost. I'll just use it if I like have a day with a lot of work. That's just a slippery slope for me. I've just learned that it's just like, bro, you're not gonna be doing it just 3 times a week or just once or twice a week. Like you're just gonna end up sliding and doing it every day, which is fine. I'm kind of just all in or all out. Anyways, that's the video. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Join the conversation down below in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your relationship with caffeine, and have a great rest of your day. Cheers.